On those rare occasions when Sister Bertrille gets a good part of a nice summer day to herself, she goes out flying for the sheer joy of it. Today she may have wandered a bit too far from Puerto Rico when the wind speed suddenly drops. So does she. It shouldn't be a problem, she just needs to wait for the wind to pick up. Or not, she won't be flying anywhere with that. Even once it dries out, it's not going to be stiff enough to catch a breeze. She's stranded and there doesn't seem to be anybody else here.
In situations like this, there are only two thoughts. Do the natives still make hero sandwiches out of missionaries? And are the natives restless tonight?
This whole island isn't as big as San Juan. Most likely there aren't any natives. However, as that footprint shows, she's not alone here.
Carlos! Carlos!
Sister Bertrille!
Oh, Carlos!
I've never been so glad to see anybody in my whole life!
Same for me! What are you doing here anyway?
Well, that's a long story. You know, I was just about to ask you the same thing.
You were? Well, I was just cruising around, but the wind died.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We are stranded.
His yacht is out there somewhere. April Chance tossed him overboard when he made certain advances and took off with it.
Well, Carlos, it looks like you were outmaneuvered this time.
Oh, yeah, maneuver. You have never seen maneuvering like I'll maneuver if I ever get my hands on her again.
Oh, Carlos, you can't really blame her.
Oh, I can't, huh?
No.
You just watch me. I'm going to have a keel hold. If I knew how it is done.
It's better that you don't, because I don't think you'd do well in prison. She says you got yourself into this. He says, not me, I'm innocent. She reminds him about Bobby Starr, and we discover we have a clip show. Unlike a lot of clip shows we've had to deal with, though, this one isn't overdone. The clips are the minority, not the focus of the episode. What is the focus? Well, tell me this. What does Sister Bertrille do best? And you can't just say annoy Carlos. That's way too easy.
Where's your cornet? You can fly out for help.
Oh, no, I can't fly. See, it got all wet and torn, and there isn't any wind anyway. Thank you.
Notice what Carlos did there. He didn't give her that to wipe her face. He gave it to her to cover her head, then turned his back until she had put it on. He knows it's against the rules for her to be in public with her head uncovered, even if it's through no fault of her own. He complains about her non-stop, but this is the level of respect Carlos has for her. As quick as he noticed she was uncovered, he did something about it. This is the effect she's had on him, and it's only the end of the first season. We have 2 more to go. Her cornet is ripped, and she needs starch to make it stiff enough to lift her. Carlos thinks he might be able to make some struts for it, and there's plenty of starch around if you know where to look.
Now, the first thing to do is to make a big signal fire. Okay, so you go that way, and I'll go this way, and try and gather as much as you can.
Okay. Gather what?
Firewood! See? We eat.
Fish?
All you need to do now is go dig us up some worms.
Yeah.
Carlos draws the line at digging worms. That's something he will not do. Yeah, sure he won't. Soon enough, they're eating fish. And he's still fuming about April Chance.
Carlos, you've got no one to blame but yourself. Luring girls out on your yacht and sailing out where they can't even walk home.
I didn't lure her. I just...
Just what?
Just nothing.
Uh-huh. Just as I thought. Your own fault.
What are you anyway? The voice of my conscience?
In a way, she is. Carlos knows what the issues are with his lifestyle, but he's unwilling to give it up. She has a knack for confronting him with that dilemma. He takes them back to the first time he saw her fly and thought he had a vision, and then to the picnic where she borrowed his station wagon. It doesn't matter where he tries to go to be alone with a woman, she somehow manages to appear. Thing is, he's not wrong. That's the running joke on the show. And it works. Their next problem is water. They head in opposite directions toward the other side of the island to look for some. Instead, she found a seaweed monster. Under all that foliage, this monster's name is April Chance. So why is she here playing Swamp Thing instead of on the yacht?
I sank it and it wasn't even mine.
Oh, wait till he hears that.
Who hears that?
Whomever it belongs to.
I guess she has a good reason for not bringing it back.
Are we alone on this island?
Well, no one is ever really alone.
But isn't there a big fire on the other side of the island? I mean, I saw it as I was swimming in.
Yes, it's a signal fire that I built, but you don't want to go over there.
The whole find water thing is forgotten, and Carlos has been busy.
It's the best I can do. It might work.
Looks pretty awful.
Well, aesthetics were my last consideration, sister.
I'll try it.
Okay. Come on, go ahead.
Oh, well, I'll go around to the other side of the island. There's more wind over there.
It's the best excuse she can come up with. I don't know how long she expects to keep this up. She'd do better to bring April to the fire, stand between them, and dare either of them to do or say anything. But it's funnier this way.
Keep exercising. You never know when fitness will count.
May as well. She sure isn't getting off the ground. It's still too flappy and there's still no wind.
There.
I ever see that Carlos Ramirez again, I'll sew him up like that cornet. I swear I will.
Maybe you're judging him too harshly.
Harshly? Listen, if anyone knows how to judge a playboy like that, it's me.
Bridget Hanley was just getting started in television. She had done a lot of stage work, but was still finding her spot. She and Sally Field had already met when she did a guest spot on Gidget, so it wasn't a stretch for her to do one on this show. And right about this time, she hit it big with the role of Candy Pruitt on Here Come the Brides. The show introduced her to the country, and everyone fell in love with this fresh-faced beauty with the quick tongue. She followed that with more one-offs, although she appeared multiple times on Love American Style. Then she became Wanda Riley Taylor on Harper Valley PTA, a show I never watched and couldn't tell you anything about. She continued in TV until 1991 when she returned to stage acting. She died just last year, 2021, at the age of 80. My family watched Here Come the Brides regularly, and I often drooled over her delicate, innocent, but slightly snarky smile.
Here. Oh, thank you. I don't think I'll need it, though. It's almost as good as new. All I needed to do was soak it in coconut milk and let it dry, and it's all starched. Coconut milk is 90% starch.
As I said, it's all over the place if you know where to look. April still can't figure out why they're spending so much time and effort on her cornet. Basically, Sister Bertrille says she feels a little undressed without it. She appreciates the do-rag Carlos gave her, and it's functional, but that's about all. Speaking of Carlos...
You know, I have decided that I am just not very bright, sister. Well, you know, otherwise I wouldn't keep making the same mistakes over and over
Mistakes?
and over. Men. What? You know, I keep picking the kind that leave me stranded on islands.
He decided to come see if she was able to take off, and he knows that voice.
But maybe it was partly your fault.
Well, like they say, it takes two to tango. But just the same, here I am, stuck, stranded in the middle of nowhere. And it's because of him. Boy, you know, sinking his yacht was an accident. But if I ever get a hold of him again, what I'm going to do...
Sinking my yacht!
Carlos may wish he had stayed on his side of the island.
I'm not going to be sorry about anything!
April, a lady never uses her fist. A rider uses a rock. Good. No! Now, you guys, wait a minute. Now, wait.
The chase is on. How many of us know what a non-Newtonian substance is?
Help! Somebody help me!
Sister Bertrille, where are you?
Help! Come!
Why do I ask? Because Sister Bertrille just found some. April appears, and with her help, Carlos finds a good-sized stick and pulls Sister Bertrille out.
You know, Carlos, now that we've cleared the air, I forgive you everything.
And I forgive you. And after all, the insurance will take care of the yacht.
Carlos, the wind is rising.
Yes, it is rising.
What? What is it?
Hurry, be on your way.
Where are you going?
There's nothing like a life-threatening crisis to make people forget their squabbles. But Sister Bertrille isn't sure she should leave Carlos alone with April.
Oh, sister, how can you think?
Carlos, promise.
I'll be anything but a gentleman in the circumstances.
Carlos, promise, else I can't go.
Okay, I promise.
And we know Carlos is a man of his word.
Carlos.
At last, we are alone.
Oh, alone. Come on, where's Sister
She
Bertrille?
left us for the moment.
I don't see
Come
how.
on, don't say a word.
Carlos, you promised.
What was that?
The voice of my conscience.
Whether he wants to be or not. The season ended strong and ratings were great. The whole country had a crush on Sally Field. Sorry, country, I saw her first. And we couldn't get enough of Sister Bertrille's foibles that always somehow turned out to do something good for someone. The physics and mechanics of her flying fall into the category of you gotta be kidding, but we were more than willing to overlook that. We came for the star and stayed for the stories. I can honestly say that people today who make fun of this show because it had a flying nun have missed the point. That stuff is just to get your attention. We've seen in every episode that the show is about Sister Bertrille improving people just by being who she is. When we discussed the show, it was much like I've been doing in these reviews. So-and-so was such a mess, but thanks to Sister Bertrille, they have a much more hopeful future. Oh yeah, and she flew here and did that, and it was really funny. We didn't talk about how ridiculous the premise was because we didn't care. We loved Sally Field, and we loved Sister Bertrille. Even my dad enjoyed it and talked about how she did things, and he tried to tell me all Catholics are going to hell because they're Catholics. If she could win him over, she could win anybody over. And she did. We couldn't wait for summer reruns to be over so we could get the second season going. But just like back then, we're going to wait a little bit before plunging into it. I'll be taking a little break and then we'll explore season 2. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you then. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button to let me and YouTube know you want to see more. If you're not subscribed yet, punch me in the mask here and get signed up so you don't miss a thing, because something is always happening here at Irving Zoo. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. April, black couch, don't bite yourself. Beck Carlos has for her. People today who make fun of this show because it have a